Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to
Andy
and Maddie, the podcast.
The podcast.
Our podcast. Welcome back. Welcome back. Another episode.
Bringing the vibes.
We are here. We are bringing the vibes. Always. You guys already know.
Providing the
vibes. That's a given. I feel like we don't even have to say that, but we're giving the vibes.
We're aiming for
all
that
the time.
always.
All the time.
Yeah, to provide the universe.
Exactly. We gotta provide the fruit for our viewers to eat, so that you don't get hungry.
We really appreciate you listening to us.
100%. Especially because we're almost to 10 episodes now.
Oh my god.
This is episode 9. How monumental. How special. I love it.
It's gonna just multiply from here. I feel it.
Oh, yes, of course. Right now we're talking about 9. Tomorrow we're gonna be talking about 90. Nowhere to go but up.
Let's not talk about another number until 100.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding. 50. We'll celebrate 50.
I was like, well, yeah, or I don't know. You know what? This is the thing. Everything is a cause for celebration.
Amen.
Amen. I'm trying to celebrate every episode.
That's true. Episode 9.
I wish we had little cling. We could cheers to that.
Yeah.
Imagine that we did. Maybe I'll put in the little.
On the 10th episode.
Look, just pretend, and I'll put in the little sound effect. Ready?
Okay.
1, 2, 3. Perfect. Okay. That was so fun. So yeah, that being said, we're trying to think of interesting topics that we can be discussing on here and give you guys some really cool conversations. And we were kind of talking about this, just in conversation, and it normally came up, just casually, and we were like, we should talk about this on the podcast. So
what? I don't even remember.
You don't even remember what we're supposed to be talking about?
Refresh my memory.
Well, I guess I'm introducing it to all of you and Andrew at the same time.
Absolutely.
We were going to talk about plastic surgery and cosmetic surgeries and cosmetic procedures, and the fact that it has basically taken over the world, and it is now the beauty standard. I mean, at least for sure for women, but also men to an extent.
No, I definitely feel pressured.
And just kind of break down how it's insane. And also I think it's kind of people are starting to talk about it more and it is becoming more normalized, but in a way it's also really stigmatized still. And also just not really that even known. I feel let me first say this. For all of you out there, you may know, you may not know. If you know, you know. But I guarantee that your favorite celebrity has had a lot more done and continues to have a lot more done than you think. And, I mean, we've gotten to the point where surgeons are basically like little magicians. I mean, they can truly make the slightest tweaks, the slightest little, ratios that make you look like this perfect version of yourself, right? And that's kind of what happens with celebrities and stuff. Yeah, I guess for me, I started watching this channel that I would highly recommend that you guys start watching. It's Lorry Hill, that's her name. And she talks about cosmetic surgeries that celebrities have done. Mm-hmm. And I remembered I stumbled upon her channel and I watched a video and I was like, whoa.
Oh, yeah.
That is crazy. And then I started watching more and more videos where she basically just talks about the transformation that these celebrities have had. And it's so obvious when you actually look at their face progression over time, Mm-hmm. I feel some people, yeah, of course, it's okay, for example, the Kardashians. It's everyone knows that the Kardashians have had work done. But they probably had more than you think, honestly. But also, there's so many other celebrities that people don't necessarily think oh, this person has had a bunch of surgery, but they probably have had just as many as the Kardashians. It's just so normalized now. And there's infinite numbers of surgeries that can be done, right? And it's just getting to be such a big industry that it's your plastic surgeon is your sculptor, it's an art form to try to make people look as perfect as they can. And so it's yeah, I guess it's a question of what, how are we supposed to feel about that, as just young people. I mean, I guess that's just the opening conversation is, how do you feel about plastic surgery? It's you know,
okay.
It's a difficult topic. I feel like
we've talked about this since we were teenagers, and we used to watch the Kardashians together. We used to watch E! News together. We used to watch all of this. We would consume all of this media, you know, and seeing these people transform, like seeing Kendall Jenner transform, seeing these people transform into who they are today. I mean, I think it's etched into the brains of like all of the people from our generation, you know. I think that it's like we really did get to witness these people change, like entirely, their faces entirely change, and then be glorified for it. So obviously, I mean, it makes most people want to emanate this like beauty standard, you know. So I don't know. I think that, like, for me, I see my face. Like, even right now, like, me and Marissa, we have a camera where we can see what we're recording. And I'm looking at myself. And, of course, like, I'm happy with how I look. I love myself. Like, I've always loved myself the way that I am. I've never had braces. Like, I've never done any sort of cosmetics feature, you know, changing thing to myself. I've never done anything, you know? And, like, does that make me better than someone that has? No, I don't think so. And I also have, of course, indulged in the idea, like, thought of the fact that I would maybe want something once I have money. Yeah. So I think that it's like, you know, I don't know. I don't think I can judge anybody, but I mean, where our generation is reaching a point, though, is that I think that we're asking ourselves, like, what is too much? Yeah. Like, what is, like, where it's, like, you just altered your face, like, absolutely forever.
I think that is the key right there.
But then again, it's like it's your own life. Yeah. If you want to be a completely different person, go for it, you know?
I think that's, like, the ultimate question, really, is, like, is there any limits to this? Because I think a big part of it, too, is, like, yes, I think that the Kardashians were for sure kind of, like, a catalyst for it in a lot of ways, or at least made it more, like, obvious, especially not even just with, like, face surgery, but also, like, all of their BBLs, you know?
The whole
like,
body.
The body shape thing, because body surgery is a whole other thing. And that is, like, I almost feel like getting surgery on your face and getting surgery on your body is, like, can be different in some ways. Especially because the body surgeries tend to be a lot more dangerous.
Yeah, BBLs are, like, the most common for deaths, no?
Yeah, BBLs have the highest death rate of any plastic surgery. So for those of you out there that are considering getting a BBL, please know that it's really, really, really important for you to do research on a good plastic surgeon. Do not just go with the cheapest person. Do not go with the person even that has the most followers on social media or whatever. Like, make sure that you are looking at before and after pictures and really getting reviews from people to get a good grasp of, like, how this surgeon is. And make sure that you find somebody that does BBLs all day, every day. Because it is a really difficult procedure. There's a lot of things that can go wrong because you have a lot of arteries and, like, important veins in those areas. And it's like you could literally die in seconds. That's how serious it is. And I feel like a lot of people are not aware of that. And not just even during surgery. There's a lot of complications that you can have after surgery. And it's just like, these are all really important things to consider with any of those surgeries. Like, those are major operations. Not to say that it's not on your face, but usually those are smaller little, you know, surgeries. In some cases, though, that can be applied to your face, too, because it's like, okay, yeah, it's like you can, like, you know, just do small tweaks or whatever, or you can do a full-on reconstruction of your face, right? Like, you can have jaw surgery. You can have, like, you know, implants put in your face. There's so many different things that you've done that, like, people like the Kardashians and these, like, mega celebrities, really most A-list celebrities have done, you know? And it's just crazy to think about because it's just, like, I feel like this is only going to get more popular as time goes on and more, like, prominent because of the fact that technology has advanced us to a point where they're able to do so many different things to your face. And we were also talking about this the other day, that it's not just limited to plastic surgery of, like, actual surgeries, but all of their cosmetic procedures that they do. I mean, obviously there's fillers. Like, everyone knows about fillers and, you know, Botox and things like that.
So what's the difference between Botox and filler?
So it's just basically a different chemical. That's the way you could look at it, and it has a different purpose. So filler adds volume. It adds volume, right? So it's like you use it to create proportions. Obviously, you can do like a lip filler. That's like a most obvious, like, you know, way of how it builds.
What is it made out of?
I actually think that some of them are made of like, don't quote me, hyaluronic acid or things like that. It's just like, it's bio-friendly, obviously, ingredients. And then Botox is like a muscle, it holds the muscle. I really don't really, I guess, have like
so
a
that's
more
what, like,
technical
makes
way to
people's
explain
face,
it.
like, so,
yeah. So it basically like doesn't
has,
enable
like, no
the muscles
texture.
to move. Yeah. So you have no wrinkles is the key. That's the main like use for Botox. Also though, for example, if you're somebody who grinds your teeth a lot, or you have like TMJ, like tension in your jaw, these muscles right here are called the masseter muscles in your face. If you guys are only listening, it's like right above your jaw, like kind of in the middle of your jaw, between your ears and your chin. That right there, you can feel it when you talk. It's the masseter muscle. So a lot of people that experience like chronic jaw pain, or that just grind their teeth a lot, they end up building very large masseter muscles. And for a lot of people, putting Botox in their masseter muscles can not only like shrink the size of your masseter muscles and change the shape of your face, but it can also take away the pain.
Wow.
So there's actually multiple uses for it. You know, it just depends on where you put it in the face. Of course, yeah, you can use it around your eyes, your forehead, your smile lines, but the same thing with filler, right? But I mean, that's just one example. Because now, I don't know if you've heard about this, there's a thing called like Sculptra and other similar things that's body filler. So it's like you can kind of use that to create like fake dimension, or like fill in hip dips, or you know what I mean? Or create some kind of like, you know, skinny BBL. That's like the new trend, is like it's not as large as it used to be, you know what I mean? It's like more normal dimensions. Because the beauty standard is always changing. And that's the other thing too. Is just that it's like a lot of people, the problem with the plastic surgery trend is that it's trends. They're specific trends of specific surgeries and specific aesthetics and looks that get popular for a certain amount of time. And the celebrities and the ultra rich people, they can just keep getting surgeries on a whim all the time. And so they can just change to fit the aesthetic. But the normal person, the average person, is not going to be doing that. So it's like, for example, like when the Kardashians had like their BBLs and had their like huge butts and like super exaggerated proportions. When they were
appropriating culture.
Yeah, exactly.
And another ethnicity that they didn't belong to.
Right. So it's like now all of these people still have those bodies, but it's like not as fashionable anymore, you know? And it's like, it's the same thing with anything. It's like, you know, even like
lip filler, I think, went through like an intense phase, and then now it's kind of like going down.
Even like it's like the fox eye trend, like that's like a big one that's like kind of starting to fade down, but it's like all of the celebrities have gotten that one where they pull their eyes upward, or like the ponytail lift, which is like kind of, it like does the same thing. It just like pulls all of, as if like your hair is in a really tight ponytail, just like pulls all of your face up. Like so many people have had that done, you know? But then it's like, yeah, maybe 10 years from now, that's not going to be like the fashionable trend. So it's just like, what I think, and what I've actually heard from many plastic surgeons, is that you should not go for trends. You should go for what's going to be timeless and best on your face. So, or your body. So do not just do something, like don't walk into your plastic surgery or like your like med spa with a picture of a Kardashian, you know, or Bella Hadid, or one of, you know, the other people who has, you know, gotten things done and is like trendy right now. Like, I feel like it's important to, once again, do your research on your surgeon and on the place that you're getting your things done, because even things like filler can actually have really bad consequences.
I just think to myself, I mean, honestly, I really am just going to get things that are going to be things that are going to make me feel really good about myself, and how you said, like, not too many, and like just little minute things. That's really all I want to do. Like, I know that I've, like, fallen on my face many times. I've, like, literally, like, I've hit my nose how many times in my life. I've worn glasses on my nose all my life. And, like, I was reading about how, like, that can actually, like, affect the shape of your nose, you know? Like, the fact that you wear glasses, like, all the time.
That makes sense.
Yeah, and then, and, like, you know, there's just certain things that I'm like, I just want to do these things, you know? You know, like, why am I gonna overthink it? But
well, that's the thing. It's like, yeah,
nothing
there's nothing wrong with it. It's just that I feel like, yeah, that's the key. Is there's nothing wrong with it, and you should do it if you want to, and it should not be shamed or whatever. But keep in mind, one, that this is a major surgery. 99% of the time, you literally have to go under anesthesia. And also that this is, like, a permanent change. Like, I saw this video one time that kind of shook me a little bit. Not gonna lie. It was on YouTube, and it was of this girl and how she got a nose job. And she was looking so forward to it. Same kind of thing where she had wanted it her whole life, you know? And, like, she went to a good surgeon who she thought was a really good surgeon. And she paid a lot of money to get her nose done. And she ended up not liking the way her nose looked, and it made her really depressed, and she just wished so bad that she had not done anything to her nose, and that she had just stuck with her old nose, and she literally was depressed and had to get a second nose job. And actually, that's very common that a lot of people end up not getting the rhinoplasty that they wanted because they didn't do enough research, and they didn't really, like, maybe, you know, like, they end up having regrets about their nose, or the surgeon didn't do what they discussed because maybe it's not the best surgeon, and, like, you know what I mean? It's just, there's so many factors, and a lot of people end up having to get secondary nose jobs because they just, you know, they did not like the results from the first one, and they have to go in and fix the first one. Or, of course, people get botched too.
I mean, I feel like the thing is that that's the thing with any sort of thing that involves cosmetics, like, on any level. Like, if you want to get your car customized, or if you want to get something customized, whatever, it's like, yeah, the person that's making it is not in your head, and they're not able to completely see exactly what you imagined, and they're making their own version of what you imagined. And I think that how you said earlier, like, these people who are sculpting these people's faces, they're quite literally sculptors and, like, artists of the face.
Yeah.
And they, you know, they do their own interpretation of someone's vision. And then it's like...
Well, I mean, this is the thing. Most of the time...
I don't know. It just makes sense.
I get what you're saying.
It makes sense that they would have to do it twice.
The thing about it is that there's a lot of ways to avoid that. Because, first of all, most of the time when you go to one of those plastic surgeons, they have, like, programs that enable them to, like, create what it's going to look like on your face. Yeah. You approve what your nose is going to look like on your face. Like... There is a specific discussion about exactly what your nose is going to look like, and that's what you're expecting, right? I mean, I wouldn't want to come out of that and have my nose look different than that, but the key is, once again, I heard somebody say this, and I agree. I feel like if you do not like every single other before and after picture that you see of every other nose job that surgeon has done, even if there's just one or a few that you don't like, you should not go to that surgeon, because you could be that person that gets that nose that doesn't look better or doesn't look good on them. And so it's like, that's where it comes to the point where it's just like, really give yourself a chance to set yourself up for success. And of course, you know what? I will also tell you this. Actually, the same lady, Lorry Hill, who has this YouTube channel about, like, the plastic surgeries and the cosmetic procedures and stuff, she actually experienced something with her second nose job. The same thing, the same situation, where she had to get a second nose job, and she didn't like her first nose. She had to get the second nose job. And there's always more complications for the second rhinoplasty too. That's the other thing. It's always harder, because then it's like... And I found out a lot of surgeons are reluctant to do secondary rhinoplasties, because then they're working on, like, a nose that somebody else already operated on. So it's complicated. It's a lot to think about. Oh, and God. She ended up getting, like, an infection on her nose, and it was like literally the tip of her nose turned black.
No.
Yes. And she had a whole ordeal. So it's like, look, I don't want to scare anyone. And these things are not necessarily common. But like I said, it's a surgery, you know? And this is your face. So it's like, make sure that you are gonna do whatever you need to do to make sure it's gonna be a good surgeon.
That just stressed me out.
Yeah. It's just like, I don't know. I feel like it's, you know, once again, it's not to like fearmonger at all. I feel like once again, if you do your due diligence and you find a good surgeon, you're not going to have to deal with these things. You know? I mean, of course, yeah, some things can happen kind of regardless because once again, it's a surgery, but that's just something that you have to like be prepared for and keep in mind and know that, yeah, there's going to be a recovery period and that you're going to look really messed up for a little bit and, you know, that whatever. There's also, you know, like there's like little like defects that you can have with certain surgeries. We were talking about that the other day too. Mm-hmm. That it's like once you start having a lot of surgeries on your face, certain things do not work with other things and like you never really know how things are going to heal. So even the Kardashians, even these people literally have little defects that you can see on their face as a result of their surgeries. And so it's like, you know, even the celebrities are not exempt from that one. You know?
No, because that's the thing is that we're animals and we're over here like literally altering our facial features that are just so minute details.
Yeah, it's crazy. And like now it's of course like there's also the conversation of like a lot of people going out of the country to get things done, which personally, I've actually heard the best things about Turkey. I've heard really good things about Turkey. A lot of people have recommended going to Istanbul to get surgery. That's probably the only place that I could wholeheartedly recommend it though. Because honestly, I know a lot of people go to Mexico, but I've heard absolute horror stories about Mexico. Look, I love Mexico. I'm Mexican, but that's just the truth. I've heard absolute horror stories that have just scared me way too much to risk that. And also I know a lot of people want to go to Korea because in
Korea they have technology that's like crazy, no?
In Korea they are famous, like it's the reason that all of the K-pop stars, I know this is like very controversial because the K-pop stars don't believe that like all of the idols have gotten surgeries, but it's like they look like dolls. Every single one of them gets surgery, period. That's literally part of the system. And a lot of people know that, but still, they've literally all gotten surgeries. But the plastic surgeons in Korea are very famous for the fact that they literally are able to make like centimeters, millimeters of change so that they literally come out looking like a doll, right? Like you just look perfect. Like they are able to do very, very slight details. And
let's go to Korea.
You could probably you probably could go to some good surgeons in Korea, but it would be more expensive. So make sure you're finding a good surgeon. But another thing that I've heard about Korea is that in a lot of like the more normal clinics, there's this thing called ghost doctors. And ghost doctors is because in Korea, they have certain laws that basically plastic surgeons, you do not need to be a plastic surgeon to perform plastic surgery. You just need to be a doctor.
Oh.
So other types of doctors sometimes get subbed in and end up performing the surgeries. It's like they'll have the main plastic surgeon that's like the face of the practice, and then you don't know that they're not actually doing your surgery. Like once you're out, some other fucking optometrist or something is like, let's get this nose looking hot.
Let's put the gloves on.
Exactly. Like, let's get this BBL popping. It's like, dude, it's so sketchy. This is real. You can look into this. And so that's why I say you have to do your research. Like, do not jump to just booking and just going somewhere and, you know, being sucked into something that's not going to be what you want it to be. Like, you really have to be careful. And honestly, I would also say that it's like, I would encourage people probably that, and I've even heard plastic surgeons actually say this, the good ones will tell you this, not the ones that are just hungry for money and trying to exploit you for money. They will tell you, if it can be addressed in a non-surgical way, you should try to go that way first. So it's like, maybe get fillers or Botox before you try to get surgery, or
so you can see what it looks like?
Yeah. Or, well, just because you can achieve the same look without having to undergo surgery.
Oh.
It's like, granted, you know, there's things to consider with that as well, of course, like, cost, for example. Like, you know, fillers obviously will eventually become more expensive than just getting a surgery. That would take a long time, usually. I mean, a nose job can be like, I would say a good nose job in the US probably would cost you about like $12,000.
12 grand?
Yeah. A good nose job would cost you about $12,000.
I thought it was like $5,000.
No. That's like a shitty nose job.
A nose job?
That's like
$5,000?
a bar. But I will also say that
What?
the price does not necessarily determine the quality. You need to just find a specialist. Like, you need to find a specialist. But most of the people I have heard have quoted about $12,000. So I would say that that's about the average. So $12,000 is kind of a lot of money. But eventually the fillers would reach that. Like, not that, I mean, pretty quickly, to be honest. Of course, the cost of fillers also varies. But, you know, maybe you could try that first, or any of the other number of cosmetic procedures. For example, I was telling Andrew that I learned about all of these cosmetic procedures, these new cosmetic procedures, because it was like Lori's newest video, and she was talking about the non-surgical.
What's her name again?
Lorry Hill.
Lorry Hill, yeah.
Yeah. And she was talking about all of the non-cosmetic procedures, non-surgical cosmetic procedures that all the celebrities are doing, like, that you don't necessarily know about. And I was just so shocked about, like, it's insane. These machines and these, you know, things, these products, these things that they can do to people, that it's like these are not cheap procedures by any means. Some of them cost like $5,000, and people, you know, celebrities will go get that like every week. But it's just like, you know, they use all of these different methods, UV, you know, lasers,
injecting your own blood.
There's so many different things that they have now. So many devices, so many crazy devices, and then it's like sometimes they mix them all together, right? Or, you know, mix and match.
Get a
whatever.
little bit of both.
Exactly. They're like, why not a combo? You know, exactly. So it's just crazy, but it's like even just getting one of those can like literally change the way your face looks. It can change the way your face looks.
The one
and so,
chemical peels,
you know,
bro.
Oh yeah, I mean that's definitely a powerful way to do it. To at least get some change in like the texture of your face.
Yeah, and for your face to just look like you just look like a doll. Like your skin
I feel
looks
like
perfect.
I imagine it and I'm just like, wow, like that I feel like is what I'm more excited to get. Like, yeah, I want to get a nose job, but I'm like, oh, if I really was just, like, spending whatever money on that, I would definitely want to do that first. Because I would just want my skin to look perfect.
A chemical
Because you can get, like, no, laser. You got to get laser to get it really looking
laser
good.
Treatment.
You got to get laser.
And you gotta get laser.
You gotta get, I mean, it's like a peel will help. And, like, you would probably want to be doing that, like, monthly maybe. Like, a peel with your, like, you know, what is it? The people who do the facials.
Yeah.
My mom literally does that.
You can't do those monthly.
Yeah, of course you can.
No, you can't.
Well, I mean,
those are like intense. No.
Well, not all of them that are that intense, dude. People like people do facials all the time, or they do like peels all the time.
But I know that one that's like it's like for very intense acne scar.
Well, I've seen some that it's like your face literally turns red and it takes like a week for you to heal.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you that
peels.
Honestly, if you're gonna do that, I'd probably just do laser. It's because they legitimately can just zoom in on your face and like just get the just the parts of your skin that need the laser, and it's just like and then it's like brand new skin.
What the heck?
It's insane. It's insane. I mean, literally any scarring does not matter. Does not matter what it is.
How much does this cost?
Thousands.
Yeah,
I mean it's expensive.
So basically. All of this is hella inaccessible to most people. Well,
that's why they say it's like that saying of like, you're not ugly, you're just poor.
Wow. Because
money can buy makeup, extensions, nails, cosmetic procedures, all these fucking facials, fitness trainer, a plastic surgeon, you know. That is something to consider, because that's another thing though, is like, okay, is it okay then to like feed into that and perpetuate it? I also think that I think the biggest problem with it is that people are not honest about it. That is the problem. Like, there's literally nothing wrong with plastic surgery as like a choice for a person. But when you start lying about it and you start gaslighting people, especially if you're somebody who has any kind of audience and people who actually like look up to you in any way or, you know, look at you and you have some kind of influence.
Yeah, you're always in magazines.
You should not be lying about that, because then all the normal people who have not ever had any of this done look at you and think, oh my God, how is this person born like this with perfect genes and never ages and, you know, lost 20 pounds from Ozempic and like...
That's so specific.
Well, it's like, you know, all of the different things that they do, right? Because Ozempic is also really expensive. It's like thousands of dollars too.
What is Ozempic?
You don't know what that is?
I think you've told me about it before, actually.
It's okay, well, I'm sure a lot of you know because this is super popular right now, but for those of you who don't know, Ozempic is it's actually a diabetes drug. It's literally for people with diabetes and like insulin resistance, and one of the things it does is that it helps people lose weight.
Right.
And now there's multiple. It's not just Ozempic. I forgot the other big one, but there's a bunch now. A bunch of different, like, you know, versions of this drug that do it. But it basically makes people lose a lot of weight really fast. And then even that, though, a lot of people, like, don't realize that if you're not a Kardashian using it or a celebrity, you might not exactly like the effects because, yeah, you might lose weight. But also the problem with losing weight is that it's like you'll have loose skin because you lose weight so fast that it's like you literally will have loose skin and your face will start like drooping and you'll notice that you'll look older because you lost a lot of like weight really fast. Like there's this thing called Ozempic face.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm gonna have to look this up.
It's a whole thing where it's just like, and of course there's other side effects. It's just, you know. And I mean, they haven't even admitted to that either. Of course, this is alleged, but it's basically confirmed. Like, you know, we all know. You don't have to lie to us. But yeah, it's just like, that's just another example. But yeah, it's like people look at them and they think, oh, they're all natural. They're just like so naturally perfect. And it's like, dude, these people have literally spent like over $1 million on surgeries to look like this and different procedures to constantly keep up to date with this, you know?
I mean, it's not like that crazy.
I mean,
you know?
It depends on the person.
But I mean, and at the same time, it's like, I don't know.
It will make your whole face like droop.
I feel like sometimes it's like
I feel like that's maybe not like the best example,
that's
but
one of the only
even
ones.
like even Kim Kardashian, they were showing how she had like little like skin like rolls on her stomach. Mm-hmm. Because of the fact that she lost weight so fast. And dude, it's shots. It's not even pills. I'm sorry. It's injections. You literally are like, I mean, Jesus. I feel like that's low key, like so like our dystopian universe. You know what I mean? And our messed up society that it's like literally you have these freaking people literally giving themselves injections just to like lose a lot of weight and fit the beauty standard, you know? Of course, if you actually have diabetes, you actually have some sort of like issue, that is totally valid. And I mean, in some ways, I obviously think it's good that it helps people. Can you stop scrolling and participate in the podcast?
I'm looking at pictures and I got really distracted because you've told me about this before and I just have never delved into it that much because I think that for most normal people, we're so, like, we can't comprehend, like, these people's schedule and all the things that they're fitting into their lifestyle and all the things that they do throughout their week to maintain what they have and how they look and all these things.
And how they hide it, you know? Yeah. Actually, you know, Lorry Hill, she was talking about how she legitimately thinks that the Kardashians have, like, a surgery clinic in their house.
No.
Yes. That at this point, they legitimately have, like, they have a clinic on the property, you know what I mean? And it's like, dude, if you have that money, I mean, Jesus, and you're getting surgery like, you know, every couple of months, and your whole fucking family's lined up. And that's why they all look alike, you know? I feel like the surgeon's like, I gotta make you all look alike still, because you're supposed to be related, you know? We can't have you, like, all looking too fucking different, because then people are gonna be like, are you sure you guys are a family?
I think that they all, like,
of course, it's also Photoshop and stuff, too,
No. The original Kim Kardashian surgeries and the original Kim Kardashian, like, glow-up era, that's their aesthetic. That's, like, the family's aesthetic.
I mean, it's become something completely different, though.
Yeah, but...
Because it's like, they could have stopped, and it wouldn't have been as extreme.
Even the way that Kendall looks.
But now, you look at you mean Kylie?
Yeah, sorry, Kylie. Sorry, obviously, I don't know what Ozempic is. I don't know what filler is. I don't know.
Kendall,
I'm sorry.
A lot of people think she's the natural Kardashian. False. She's gotten just as many surgeries as the rest of them, so let that be known, but...
you are gonna fire up the K-pop stands, the
people
Kardashian stands.
I'm not the only one talking about this by far. There's so many other people with way more followers than me right now, and they talk about all of this. So I'm not scared. It's the truth.
I ain't ready for the heat from this, guys.
The thing about it for me is that I'm like, look, if I'm getting a surgery. I'm making a vlog about it. I'm making a TikTok. I'm being completely open about it. You're going to see the whole process, and I'm not going to lie to you. If I feel like I want to get a nose job, I'm not going to be like, it's because I have a deviated septum. I had to get a nose job, you know? Like, no. I'm going to be like, honestly, I don't know. I have insecurities about my nose. I've always wanted a nose job, and we're going to get a nose job, you know? Like... There's no need to lie. Same thing with fillers. Same thing with any event. Any event, right? It's just like there needs to be more transparency, I feel like, you know? Like, and more accountability of like, these are people that, you know, like there's so many people who are looking at you and you are literally, I mean, it's messed up because in a lot of ways, these are the same people that are exploiting those insecurities to sell you things.
Yeah. Imagine like telling like a group of kids like, no, I've never had anything done to my face.
Well, that's what they do. Like they actually have the audacity to do that.
Well, that's the thing is that's not okay. Like how you said earlier, like it really does create this image of like
completely fake reality.
Yeah, like makeup can just do this.
Yeah. I don't. Makeup can change your whole face structure and bone structure.
Well, makeup can do a lot, you know, like no doubt a lot of it is makeup.
Yeah, but makeup cannot change your features.
Yeah, no. Well,
makeup can create an illusion around your features, but it cannot change them. And, I mean, I don't know. I don't think anyone has to even... I don't think anyone's doubting the fact that these people have had these surgeries.
And the only people who do actually are, like, kids and stuff, you know? Like, they, like, are, like, they'll, like, act, like, shocked if you tell them something or something.
I don't think it's just children. I think it's a lot of people. I think you'd be surprised. Or, you know what? I think that also it's just that maybe people think, oh, yeah, well, you know, a lot of celebrities have had little things done. But it's like, they don't understand how much... Not even just surgeries, but so many procedures. Because it's like fillers and surgery and all the cosmetic procedures.
That's the thing that gets me.
And the hair and like full body makeup. And it's just... And now it's like also this new thing that's becoming more mainstream is tanning injections.
Oh my gosh, I read about this.
Yeah. I told you about it when it was first speculated that that's what Kim Kardashian was doing for a while.
No. You know how I read about this? That lady Rachel Dolezal or something like that. The one that pretends that she... Well, I don't even know how to discuss this
identifies as black or whatever.
I don't even know how to discuss
You're like, you know, that one lady. If you know, you know.
So yeah, that's how I knew about those injections. And I also thought that's insane. What the heck?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that is crazy.
Yeah. Okay, for those of you who haven't heard about that, basically people are they've invented this new thing that you literally get injections and it increases the melanin in your skin and makes you tanner. And it actually makes you substantially tanner and of course
depending on how much you use.
Yeah, but it still is, I feel like it's still pretty strong regardless. When Kim was using that stuff, she was like dark. She was really dark.
Taking hits of melanin.
Yeah. Once again, like, just all these injections is like, Ozempic in my right hip, freaking tanning injection in the left hip. I'm like, let's go. All for beauty. All for beauty.
100 in your face.
I know, and then your face is peeling off from the lasers, and it's just like, oh my god.
Some on your ear, fuck it. Why not? Just put some on your ears. Just like give a little point there, you know.
Yeah, exactly. A little filler.
Yeah, just put a little filler here in your neck, on your collarbones.
Yeah.
Put it in your hands. Put some Botox on your hand.
Actually, some people do also get like injections in their armpits to stop sweating. And same thing in your hands to stop sweating.
Oh,
that's like other procedures.
God.
It's just like, dude.
We are aliens that are just going so hard with altering ourselves.
That's the thing, and that's why I say it's like, it's such a wormhole that it's like, okay, like, is there a difference between like, yeah, like having a surgery or two or like doing a couple things and like going so excessively with it that it's like you are literally like, you are becoming like, you are just like turning into like a non-human entity at that point, because it's like no human. I mean, like, look, of course you're still a person, but it's just like, your physical body does not look like a natural human, period. Like, you are literally diverting off of the track of a natural human. No natural human is that perfect.
Like that. Yeah, it's going to look like that.
Period. Tell me one natural human.
Maybe 1 in 1 million, rarely.
No. That has all of those things done. Perfect skin, perfect teeth, perfect hair, laser hair removal, tanning injections. Like, full face sculpt.
Ozempic.
Lip fillers. Exactly. No. Like, it's
how much
crazy.
does all that cost? Millions.
That's what
millions.
I was saying earlier. Exactly. It's just like, dude, how can you sit? It's like, damn, the fucking balls to sit there and say, I've never had it. I like Kylie being like, I have had lip fillers. And it's like, ma'am, we can see the scars on your face. Who are you fooling?
No,
you know?
When you...
Or when they have all these children and then they like look like a size 0 like the day after, and it's like,
how old is Kylie and Kendall?
Kylie is younger. She's like 25. Kendall is our age. She's 27, I think.
So both of these girls, yeah, we grew up watching them.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember when we first started watching them, you know, like we were just like innocent little preteens,
mm-hmm.
and like we just,
and so were they.
Yeah,
I guess.
And we could
when
really,
they still had their original faces.
Yeah, we could really relate to them back
Yeah.
then. And then it was like as they started growing older, I just started seeing that that Kylie was just basically turning into Kim,
mm-hmm.
and I was like, okay, you know, like. They're sisters, but they don't share the same dad and mom.
Mm.
And Kim is like what? They're half Albanian, right?
Yeah.
So right, Albania or Armenian or Armenian. Yeah, sorry, they're Armenian. And that's and your face is not gonna look like that because you are not half Armenian also.
Right,
you know?
like you're full white.
Yeah, and I remember seeing that at the time, like just seeing that made me feel some sort of way.
It's because they have the same surgeon. But then it's also kind of messed up because it's like when you think about it like that, I've thought about this before, I'm like, damn. When the older sisters, when they started getting surgery, they were already like 30. And, like, Kylie started getting surgery when she was, like, 16, 17.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of sad. Like, I feel like I feel bad for her. I don't know. I don't want to, like, shame them because it's, like, you're all on your own journey.
She had so many standards around her.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, they just, like, fell into the pressure. And, like, she saw that her sisters were doing it. I feel like it was, like, mainly Kim, and then they just all started doing it. And, like, then Chris was like, yeah, let's just all go to the surgery, and we'll have, like, our own plastic surgeon, like, you know? And they just, like, trusted so much that they just never stopped. But also, sometimes I'm like, dude, can you imagine what would happen if they actually had, like, a major incident during one of their surgeries? Like, sometimes I think about it, I'm like, dude, the amount of surgeries that these celebrities get.
They're gambling.
Seriously, it's only a matter of time before one of them has some major event, but then they'll probably lie about it and say it was something else.
Yeah, something probably has already happened to one of them.
That's true.
Just the thing.
That's true.
I don't know. But anyway, point is that I guess it is your own life and you can do whatever you want. And if you want to do something, then do it. And if you have the money to do it and you've always wanted that for yourself, go for it.
But do your research.
Yeah, that was Mari's main point.
Please do your research. And honestly, I would really suggest, again, like, I feel like I'm, like, just advertising her so much, but go check out Lorry Hill's channel. She's great, and she talks about so much stuff when it comes to these things. And I have learned so much just from her channel alone. Of course, there's so many other resources, but she has some really great recommendations. She's gotten a lot of surgeries and procedures done, so she's talking from like firsthand experience, and of course the fact that she just has so much knowledge about like surgery and the trends and, you know, the way it works. So definitely do your research, and even for fillers and stuff, like everything, just do your research and really make sure that you are doing what you can to make sure that you're gonna be happy with the results. That's the most important thing. I just feel like I'm like, just be happy with the results and do not regret. Don't have to regret getting it done afterwards, you know?
Like, y'all, like,
especially because it's not cheap.
Yeah, money isn't everything, but at the same time, with certain things, like, you really got to invest that extra bit of money. Like, if you're cutting corners on every part of it, it just sounds like you really are just basically risking, you know, the end result. You know, you really want to make sure that you save up that extra 500 or 1,000. That's what it's basically telling me.
No, I think I will say, I've heard Lorry Hill say this, and I've heard other people say this. It doesn't necessarily have to be the most expensive option to be the best option.
Okay.
There's plenty of surgeons that are less expensive than maybe some of the other surgeons, but this is the other thing. The best surgeons don't have to advertise. For example, there's some very famous like TikTok plastic surgeons, and I've heard that a lot of them are not that great. So it's like, just because this person has a lot of social media followers, or just because they're like more obviously well known,
or even videos now.
Well, that's the thing, is it's just like you really have to do the research. And like I said, there might just be like an underrated doctor that you have never heard of because he's always booked or she's always booked or whatever, you know. And it's just like it's not necessarily going to be the most expensive option, you know, but you're actually going to be happy with the results. So it's just, the most important thing is make sure you're going to be happy with your result. Make sure that you look at reviews for the place and for the specific person that's going to be doing your procedures. You know, even fillers, like I said, everything, right? And just know yourself and really do things because you want to do it and not because you feel pressured by society either. If you're going to feel happier from something, then you should go for it. Once again, maybe start with like something that's not permanent, like filler or something like that, because then you can decide, you know, if you really want to stick with that instead of just having to like jump into it and then have that forever, you know, if you don't want to have another surgery or whatever. But
it's very true. But yeah, no, real quick about the Lorry Hill, the last thing I'll say is that Marissa showed me this girl before, and I remember I watched not only her journey of her getting like this pretty intense procedure done to her face.
She got a facelift.
Yeah, she got a facelift done to her face. And I remember watching the recovery process and like how much you have to have people take care of you.
Yeah, and your face is swollen for months.
She made it very realistic. You know, like it was basically raw and then raw footage and then
no, it wasn't that bad, but
no, I mean, no, but it was just honest. What it is.
It's completely honest and open, and that's what is important, because it's like, because
it demystifies it.
Like, that's what I want to see on the Kardashians' Hulu show. You know what I mean?
Them actually doing that.
I want to see freaking Kylie recovering from her latest tummy tuck from her baby delivery. You know what I mean? Like, whatever. That's the reality, you know? And it's just like, that's what we need more of. I feel like transparency.
Yeah.
Transparency.
And I was going to say, I also watched this other video of hers where Marissa also recommended for me to watch it. And it did talk about how, Kim Kardashian, and over the years, all of the different procedures she's had, and, you know, that she's had this done and then this redone, and then, you know, it's just, like, constantly changing, and how much money all of this, like, adds up to. And she's just very transparent in saying, you know, that some people, they look at this as the absolute standard of beauty, but then it's like, you know, like, it's like $100,000 was dropped, like, last, like, 6 months alone or something, or last year alone, you know, just to look like the way that she looks.
That look. It's like Kim Kardashian doesn't even look like Kim Kardashian.
No.
You know? That's the thing. Is like the Kardashians don't even look like the Kardashians. You know?
They're
so don't
they're
feel
plastic
bad
surgeon
that you don't look like them.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, they're plastic surgeon perfected versions of themselves.
Exactly.
And when you say perfection, you mean like the beauty standard of Western society.
Even then, they've been like, there's been a lot more people I feel like being aware of this and like kind of calling it out. How in their pictures, their pictures are all photoshopped. And their videos. All of it is edited. So, and even the show as well has filters on it, okay? But when you see actual just like plain paparazzi or like actual candid footage of them, they literally look different. Like their face looks different. They still, like even after all that plastic surgery, they're still editing so extensively and so like dramatically. And they don't even look like their pictures. You know? And it's like, when you look at their face in real life, it's more obvious, you know, how the things that they've had to do and the work that they've had done and how maybe not all of it looks that great. Like right now, like I know a lot of people were talking about how Kylie, there's this thing called filler migration where it starts to like, especially in your lips, like you eventually have to get it dissolved. If you continue getting lip filler, you're eventually going to have to get it dissolved and start over, because if you don't, then you're going to notice like it starts to like kind of like pout out. Like it starts to fill up like the top of your lip, like your philtrum. And it just kind of like starts to like stick out. It's migrated. It's literally moved out of your lips. Then you have to keep getting more, of course, in your lips to like fill out your lips, but then it just gets worse and worse. And so a lot of people have been noticing how her filler is migrated, and it's just like, you know, not even they can maintain it.
No, and then it's also the last thing I'll say is that the biggest conversation around Madonna lately about how, you know, people have really, it's not necessarily about me like being for or against her looking the way she does. I honestly, once again, it's her life. Madonna is a legend. She can do whatever she wants. But it makes me think to myself, what do I want to look like when I'm growing old? Mm-hmm. Will I age gracefully? You know, and then like there's just, you know, like different things like that. You know, it's like, I don't know, this whole conversation, it just really is endless. It's a huge, big, ginormous conversation. And I feel
like it's like the most important thing is to ask those questions to yourself. You know what I mean? And like that doesn't have to be like, don't base that on what anyone else thinks. You know what I mean? Just really think for yourself. What do you realistically want? Do you really need that surgery? Do you really need whatever it is? Is that truly going to bring you happiness, or is there maybe a deeper issue that you could address first?
Spend like $12,000 going on a trip across the world or something.
Exactly. Like if you meditated for a month on it, would you still want to do it?
Yeah.
You know, like, is this really something that's going to improve your quality of life? Or are you just doing it because you feel pressure, because you don't feel good enough? Because that's not okay. And that's what's been happening, you know, as a result of that, like in our culture. And it's, you know, it's sad, but it's just the way it is. And so we just have to take responsibility for ourselves, you know, and I think that that's all we can do. And be honest and real with ourselves and the world. Yeah, you know?
Yeah. Don't, if I ever get stuff, I'll be honest.
Don't lie. Exactly. Like, I get that maybe there's certain surgeries that you would feel a little weird about talking about. But, I mean, especially if you're, like, you know, talking to, like, somebody who's maybe younger, like a child, or if you, again, like, have any kind of influence on any set of group of people, I feel like transparency is important, because that's the only thing that's gonna kind of like even out those, you know, those issues. I feel like it's like at least then you can say like, well, it's okay. Like that person has had so many surgeries to look like that, you know? And like, that's why I don't look like that, because I haven't had like 20 surgeries, you know? And that's okay. It's not just because, like, I was not born good enough to fit the beauty standard. It's just that I don't have money for the plastic surgery to fit the beauty standard. You know? There's a big difference there, for sure. So, yeah, just put things in perspective for yourself. And don't forget about these things. And, check out Lorry Hill's channel if you want to see more about this, more details.
I highly recommend. But, yes, thank you so much.
This was a great conversation.
Yes,
very,
it was.
Very fun.
Yeah, no, I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
It is.
Like I said.
But it's important to talk about. And that's what we're here for, to have those important conversations.
Yeah, it's a huge part of our society. Mm-hmm. It's a huge part of being an American, about consuming media. Mm-hmm. just seeing people and
I mean, throughout the world now,
yourself.
of course, it's not just the U.S. Like, it's
yeah,
everywhere.
of course, yeah. This is an international thing. I just feel like, really, I just associate it with, like, celebrities in general.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, have a beautiful night, day, morning.
Thank you so much for listening
Sending
or
you
watching.
good vibes throughout the rest of your day or night.
Yes, we are so grateful that you guys are listening. And next episode will be Big 10. Yay! How exciting. Make sure you tune in. And also, please make sure that you rate our podcast. If you're listening to it on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, make sure that you rate it 5 stars. And yes, also follow it. And please subscribe to our YouTube channel also, because we don't have very many subscribers on there right now because we haven't really been pushing it very much. But we're always uploading the video of the podcast. So if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, do all the stuff. Help us out. We love you. Yeah, that being said, have a great rest of your day.
Bye.
We will talk to you next one. Bye.
From Andy
and Maddie.
the podcast.
The podcast.
Bye-bye.